Hello friends, let's start from 76 number question. Okay, in the question it is given that the ratio of thermal conductivity sigma and electrical conductivity K is related to temperature T as sigma by K temperature independent, sigma by K very charge temperature, sigma by K very charge temperature, and option D sigma by K very charge T to the power half. Okay, so if you see clearly, option B and option C are repeated two times. Okay, okay, so now we have to find what the ratio of thermal conductivity and electrical conductivity. Okay, now see the solution. Thermal conductivity is pi square by 6 n capital N kVt by Tf Vf lambda f. Okay, where this capital N is the number of electron per unit volume, Tf is the Fermi temperature, Vf is the Fermi velocity, lambda f is the Fermi mean free path. Okay, similarly this electrical conductivity is Nf square tau f by m. Okay, where this Nf means the number of electrons which are present above the Fermi level. Okay, why we are taking the electrons which are present, or why we are taking into consideration only for those electrons which are present above the Fermi level? It's because the electrons which are present above the Fermi levels are responsible for electrical properties like electrical conductivity. Okay, so that's why we are taking that number of electrons which are present above the Fermi level. Okay, and this tau is the mean free time. Okay, and this expression is lambda by Vf. Okay, mean free path by mean free velocity. Okay, so take the ratio sigma by k. But before that, you should notice that in physics, generally thermal conductivity is denoted as K, this K, and electrical conductivity is represented as sigma. But in this question, the thing is altered. Okay, it has been altered. Okay, so what you have to do? We have to go with the representation that in the question it has mentioned. Okay, for us. Okay, so we have to take that representation. Okay, now you take the ratio. This is the first thermal conductivity sigma, and this is the electrical conductivity K. Okay, now you take the ratio. Now what you have to find, what you have to do, let take the case of only single electron. So this capital N will be 1 and this NF will be 1. Okay, now put the expression lambda in the place of a lambda, expression of lambda, you put this Vf tau f, because this expression is derived from this. Okay, this is tau f equal to this. Okay, from that expression we can calculate tau f of Vf. Okay, so put that expression in this place, then you will find that this tau f and tau f will be cancelled out. Okay, then modify the upper expression as like a half m Vf square. Okay, so this will be what? Ef, energy, Fermi energy, and this kBt and Tf is also Fermi energy. So this term and this term will be cancelled out. Okay, because this is kBt equal to kBt, Tf equal to Fermi energy, and this half m Vf square also Fermi energy. So both will be cancelled out. Okay, so ultimately you are getting this expression and into T. But if you see that this expression is a constant, all are constant present here. Only variable is the temperature. So make it a constant. Let's suppose this is L naught. Okay, so sigma by K equal to L naught T, where this L naught is the Lorentz constant and it has some value like 2.45 into 10 to the minus 8. Okay, you see the units. Okay, I have ignored that. Okay, so which option is correct? Option B and option C are both are correct. And if you see the actual answer key of SSB, and it has mentioned that both are correct. Okay, 76 number question. Okay, comes to 77 number question. It is asked the London penetration depth varies as the number of superfluid electron is 0 at t equal to tc, tends to infinity at t equal to tc, varies inversely as number of superconducting superfluid electron. Okay, superfluid electron means superconducting electron. Okay, so what you have to find? So before going to answer this question, you should keep in mind what is penetration depth, London penetration depth. Actually, it is a depth or characteristic distance inside the specimen. Okay, at which the penetrated external magnetic field decays to 1 by E of its maximum value. Okay, so you see the solution. Let's suppose this is a cubical specimen, some material. Let's suppose this is YBCU, okay, any material. So if you place this material in presence of or in any external magnetic field, let's suppose this dotted surrounded space means this is a magnetic field and it is into the, let's suppose this is into the page, okay, and this is a cubical box or cubical specimen, okay. So what is the penetration depth, London penetration depth? You see, this is the distance, this distance, okay, okay, this is the length, okay. So up to this distance, okay, means this to this length is known as London's penetration depth, because this value is E naught B naught by E, okay. So as the external magnetic field inside the specimen becomes B naught by E, okay, that means up to that length it is known as London penetration depth, okay. And after that, you see, when the length becomes when the specimen wind up here this is wind up and here it is starting, okay, again the magnetic field, external magnetic field is B naught, you see, but inside the material it is decreasing in terms of some exponentially, it is decreasing exponentially, okay, okay, and this length is up to this length is known as London penetration depth. And the expression of London penetration depth is, there are several expressions, but among them we have to take one expression for the sake of our problem solving, okay. So we have to take this expression, okay. Now you see, when the temperature becomes critical temperature of that material, of that specimen, whatever material you have taken, that critical temperature, okay, when that external temperature becomes equal to the critical temperature, then you see this term will be 1. So 1 to the power 4 equal to 1. So there is another one here, 1 minus 1 equal to what? 0. So any 0 term in the denominator will make the whole term as infinity. So now you see the solution, the options. It is given that London penetration depth tends to infinity at t equal to Tc. So which option is correct? Option C is the correct one, okay. As at t equal to Tc, it tends towards infinity. You see, this is tending towards infinity. This curve is moving towards infinity, okay. It is getting infinite value of lambda, okay. So at t equal to Tc, you see, this is moving to, okay, tending towards infinity. So that's why option C is the correct one. So okay, so now coming to 78 number question, it is given that in case of intrinsic semiconductor, the Fermi level, actually in this question it is asked to determine the position of that Fermi level, okay. So if you see in option A, B and D, in both cases the condition is at absolute 0, that means at 0 Kelvin, but only in the option C it is mentioned that the temperature is not absolute 0, okay. So let's check each option one by one, okay. Let's see. For intrinsic semiconductor, you should know what is the equation of that Fermi energy, okay. From that equation you can determine the position, okay, whether it is in between the conduction band or the valence band or any position you can find, okay. So now this is the equation, okay, where EC is the energy of the conduction band, EV is the energy of the valence band, and you know K is the Boltzmann constant, T is the temperature, and this ln term NV by NC, Okay, where NV is the concentration, okay, electron concentration in the valency band, or we can say, or NC is the electron concentration in the effective electron concentration in the conduction band. Okay, so if you put the condition is given that at a T equal to 0 Kelvin, you see at T equal to 0 Kelvin. So if you put T equal to 0 in this place, T equal to 0, then this term will be, whole term will be 0, because 0 into something is 0. So only you are getting this, that means EC plus ED by 2. That means what? Your Fermi level is exactly lying in between the conduction band and the valence band. Okay, that means this, and it is aligning with the intrinsic level. Okay, intrinsic level is always present in between the conduction band and the valence band. Okay, and it is also that Fermi level also coinciding with that intrinsic level. Likewise, you can any extrinsic semiconductor, you can find the position of a Fermi level. Okay, so how can you find? For example, for N type, then you will get the Fermi level in between the conduction band and the donor level. Okay, this is the donor level energy, ED. This is ED level, and this is the conduction band, conduction energy band. In between that, this is the Fermi level. Okay, you see, this is the Fermi level. And for the case of a p-type semiconductor, you will get the Fermi level in between the valence band and the this acceptor level. Okay, and these are the equation. If you put T equal to 0, then you will get this equation, as like we have got for the case of intrinsic level. Okay, for this, if you put 0 here in this T, you will get a EA plus a EV by 2. Okay, so now coming back to equation number question number 79. Okay, it is given that if the effective mass of electron in an energy band is m star, then what is the expression in terms of h cross and d square E by dk square? Okay, what is the relation? You see, we know that from the Newton's second law, that is force equal to mass into the net acceleration produced in the body. Okay, so from that equation you can get that acceleration is force by m star. Okay, we are denoting the mass of that particle as m star. M star is the effective mass. Okay, we'll see how, what is the physical nature of this m star. Okay, so now this acceleration can be written as dvg by dt, that means change in velocity per change in time. Okay, now we know that vg is the group velocity. Okay, vg is the group velocity, and that group velocity can be written as d omega by dk. Okay, so that's why we write here, we have wrote here. Okay, now if you multiply a h cross in the numerator and denominator, then this h cross omega will become the expression as energy. Okay, dE by dt dk, and this is the h cross we have divided. Okay, now if you further do some modification, then you will get 1 by h cross d by dk dE by dk dk by dt. Okay, now this is, if you multiply or derivative this on this term, okay, you will get it 1 by h cross d square E by dk square dk by dt. Okay, so this acceleration is proportional to this term. Okay, this acceleration is proportional to this term. And also you know that from the second law of Newton's second law of motion, that force is change in momentum by change in time. Okay, so, and we also know that P, that momentum, is h cross k. So if you put here in the place of a momentum h cross k, and h cross is the constant, then you will get a dk by dt. H cross dk by dt is the force term. Now the mass can be written as force by acceleration. From this equation you can write m star equal to force by acceleration. So now if you put individually the value of or the expressions of force and acceleration, this is the expression of force, this is the expression of acceleration, then this term will be cancelled out. Okay, this term will cancel out, and eventually you will end up with s cross square by d square e by dk square. Okay, that means this term, option P. Now the question is coming that what is effective mass? Okay, what is effective mass? Basically the effective mass has nothing to do with the actual or the real mass of the particle, rather it is the effect of acceleration experienced by the electron inside the metal, or we can say inside the crystal. For example, if I give a simple version of an analogy, let's take a case in which you are moving inside a public lift. Okay, you have gone through in public lift like in shopping mall. So let the pulley and you are inside that lift, and the lift is moving upward. So definitely you will feel that your weight is increasing. Now let's suppose that a lift is also moving down and you are present inside the lift, then you will definitely feel that your weight is decreasing. Now in both situations, would you say that your mass is decreasing or increasing? No, you cannot say. Okay, you cannot say that your mass is decreasing or increasing. Rather it is all about the effect of acceleration. That is, when you move up, your effective acceleration increases, and when you move down, your effective acceleration decreases. Okay, and from the Newton's second law we know that force equal to mass into acceleration. Okay, mass into that effective acceleration, or you can say net acceleration. Okay, so the effective mass is nothing to do with the actual mass. Okay, rather it is the force or the you can say the field experiencing in by the particle inside that surrounding. Here in this case, for example, it is given for the case of electron. So electron is present inside the metal or crystal. So in that crystal environment, the electron is facing a force that may be a crystal force. Okay, so that crystal force is hindering the motion of that electron when you apply a potential difference. That means we are applying a force to move the electron in a particular direction to make a circuit close, or we can say to move to flow the current. But there is a force acting on that electron in the opposite side due to the crystal force. Okay, so that crystal force is a cause of the effective mass. Okay, so I think you got the answer. Now coming to 18 number question, it is given that Curie-Huys law is such that ferromagnetic susceptibility Xi is related to temperature as, okay, Xi is proportional to 1 by T or proportional to T or any expression. Okay, from these four options. Now you should remember that this is a long derivation. Okay, so to every time do a long calculation, it's better to remember the expression. Okay, this is the correct one. Please remember it because it is frequently asked in every question. Okay, and the derivation is very long. Okay, for ferromagnetic the susceptibility expression is this. Okay, 1 by T minus theta T. Okay, if you see this is theta Tc. In the place theta I have written Tc, where Tc is the c by c lambda, where lambda is the Weiss constant. Okay, so hope you got the answers of all questions. Thank you very much.